it's hard not to call to mind the living embodiment of that brand, so Richard Branson. Champion of the customer, straight talking, both commercially astute and cheeky enough to get away with challenging the giants. I think Virgin Music, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Money, the list kind of goes on. And Virgin Media, the company that I work for, is no different, well, certainly in its aspiration and its intent. But the history that Virgin Media creates a major challenge. The history of our company is an interesting one. Virgin Media was formed when NTL, Telewest and Virgin Mobile merged, creating the total media business that we have today. And we now deliver broadband, TV, fixed and mobile telephone services to both consumers and to businesses. But if you step back a little further, the picture is of mergers and acquisitions that brought together more than 50 companies. And I'll say that again, 50 companies. We are actually more than 55 companies squashed together. And last year we were also acquired by Liberty Global, and we're now part of the world's largest company with largest cable company, that is, with 14 million customers in 24 countries. And this isn't a pitch. This is a context that's really important because even though we have a vast fibre optic network that its huge scale and capacity is unique in the UK, it's not always going to be this way. And the future of our company depends upon us being ready with the skills internally. So as technologies converge to meet the consumer demand, as you all know, very, very closely, you all know. Demand for the handheld device that's always on, that delivers all of your content, including TV, wherever you are, and TV is an app. We have to have brilliantly skilled people. And anyone who's been involved in mergers and acquisitions will know the complexity that this brings. We have 55 companies worth of different systems, different processes, different policies, different cultures even. And most importantly, from an HR perspective, the people themselves were largely hired by other organisations. That means that the psychological contract isn't necessarily with Liberty Global or even Virgin Media. So what this means is that we find ourselves with a wealth of skills all under one roof, well, metaphorically speaking, a burning platform in the shape of the commercial and competitive realities of our industry, and thousands of employees who never really signed up to work for us in the first place. I'm painting a really great picture, aren't I? But if we're serious about being a Virgin company, and we are, then the way we treat our employees is the key. We want to demonstrate to our people that they can grow their career with us, that we'll provide the foundation and the structure for them to stay loyal to us and to grow with us. And we know that if we can achieve this, that will be the way that they treat our customers. One of the things that we're doing to achieve this is a project that we're calling Career Paths, and ensuring that we do this in a way that's recognised both functional technical skills as well as leadership skills. So what is Career Paths? Well, our aim was to show people how they could grow their career with us, and it meant really going right back to basics. If we want people to stay with us, to aim to progress with us, we have to show them what good looks like, so that they can be honest with themselves as well as us about their skills and performance, and understand with absolute clarity the difference between what they do today and what they need to do to progress. We weren't starting completely from scratch, so Virgin Media did undertake a major programme of change for the integration of terms and conditions when the three businesses came together in 2006. This was really an imperative, just to be able to take control of the basics of bringing together so many different legacies, even just to be able to pay people the right amount every month. This was absolutely vital to us. And it was a really important leap forward. So Pathfinder, our job family framework, was a massive step forward. It allowed us to create parity between jobs that were the same, but for people who had come from different businesses. And there were losers as well as winners, as you would imagine in something that's perceived to be a harmonisation project. And unfortunately, the technology and engineering roles were the hardest hit. The guy that had been the guru in Croydon Cable was now one of many gurus in Virgin Media, and his standing went down as a result. That was incredibly demotivating for many people. And for people in the technology and networks job families that we have in the business, Pathfinder wasn't specific enough. They wanted an algorithmic outcome. And whilst we don't want to give always an algorithmic outcome and allow people to say, if I do A and B, I will get C, we still need to meet these people halfway. And I say these people, I mean me too, because my background is also a technical one. So the first step was really to get right back to basics and get to grips with what we've got today. Unbelievably, not when you consider our legacy, but for a company the size of Virgin Media and the brand image that we have, we didn't know what skills we had. We could have asked line managers to create job descriptions. It always makes me slightly uncomfortable when HR people like me ask managers to create job descriptions. I mean, let's be honest, if I'm asked to write a job description, I think I might over-egg it slightly. And also, if I share it with my colleagues, I think the chances are that they'll probably disagree with some of it, if not all of it. And therefore, the potential of thousands of different job descriptions from different managers really didn't fill me with optimism. So we decided to use the skills framework for the information age, or SFIAplus. We wanted to get to grips with what we have in a way that didn't require hundreds of managers to create those job descriptions. And I chose SFIAplus and a collaboration with the BCS. And I did this because I wanted our job descriptions to be crystal clear and aligned to the standardized skills framework, but also because the Skills Plus framework added value where we needed it the most. This wasn't just about defining the requirements of the role, the job description itself. It was also suggesting learning and development interventions for us too. So training activities, the personal development plans, professional development activities, qualifications and the like. And using SFIAplus in this way has given us the ability to look at the additional dimensions of personal contribution and professional development. Most significantly of all, it has supported the mindset shift, and I have to practice saying that quite a lot, towards ownership by the employee of their career. So having absolute clarity about the requirements of the whole role, the purpose, the skills the person will need, the knowledge that will be required, the level at which it's operating or is delegated to, the behaviours that can either support or undermine achievement in that role. All of this information was important to defining our performance standard. Every one of us needs this clarity about our own performance to be able to be honest about our performance and our potential. The goalposts are painted white for a reason. We need to see them clearly, and if we're moving them, as is inevitable in our industry, it's even more important that we make this really visible. So having all this great data about the skills that we have today in our business is all well and good, but I think I'm possibly the only person in Virgin Media who gets this excited about the potential that it affords us. To turn this into useful information and to bring the potential to life, we are doing two key things. So we're taking our job family structure, or Pathfinder, to the next level by creating visibility of typical vertical pathways that exist today. And that's to allow people to see what the potential might be for developer A, who's called data scientist, and developer B, who's called God, to see where their roles fit together. God from Croydon Cable is doing exactly the same job as the data scientist from Portsmouth. But they never knew that. So we need to get ready. Sorry, the second thing, I've skipped ahead. The second thing that we're doing is the collaboration with BCS is using RoleModel, which is a system that allows people to interrogate the details of their own role in the system. So having mapped everything that people do day in, day out to a very clear job description, this information is in the RoleModel system. An individual can go into that system, they can check and assess their own performance against each of those performance criteria. They can ask others to do the same, so they can do it 360 if they wish. And as a result of that, they'll get development recommendations of what skills they may need to close the gap or to be ready for the next level, the next stage of their career. Okay, now my slide. So we're going to be continuing to get ready. We've still got a long, long journey ahead of us. It's a long game, but we'll continue to work on SFIAplus. But we've already seen some green shoots that we hadn't expected or that we hadn't specifically planned for. The fact that we had immediately identified the fact that we had duplication across departments, we used the SFIAplus codings to map what we had within our organisation. And it immediately became evident that we had people doing exactly the same jobs, but in different departments, which was obviously leading to a huge amount of duplication. And it just wasn't evident to us before. So last year, when we reorganised, we moved 14 teams in our technology function to put similar roles together and to create the efficiencies that are making us quicker and slicker. And although we're not growing headcount, we're not reducing it either, but we are getting smarter internally as a result. So career paths at Virgin Media was first and foremost about valuing our people and demonstrating to them why Virgin Media is a place that they want to work. And SFIAplus provided the specific criteria that allows an employee and their manager to consistently judge performance and potential so that career conversations have a common language. The reason that I've returned to the slide of Sir Richard Branson is that the canny old fox is actually right. In our attempts to look after our people, we help the business in ways that we hadn't expected. So our organisation design is better as a result, and our resource planning is, although in its infancy, is also improving. So when you're asking yourselves if your business has the skills it needs, also be sure to check whether you're valuing the people, not just the skills that they have. And ask if you're treating them the way that you would like them to treat your customers. Okay. Thank you for listening.